The stage was set for a dramatic showdown between two neighboring giants. For decades, the United States and Canada stood shoulder to shoulder, their economies deeply intertwined. But beneath the surface, anxiety simmered, waiting for a spark. That spark came when President Trump's administration announced sweeping tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, citing national security. The move stunned Canadians and sent shockwaves through both countries. In Ottawa, officials scrambled to respond. For Canada, this was about respect and trust, not just economics. Ontario Premier Doug Ford hit back, proposing a 25% surcharge on electricity exported to the U.S., a direct response targeting states like Michigan and New York. Suddenly, energy became a bargaining chip, and the prospect of higher costs sparked concern across the border. The era of quiet compromise was over. What began as a tariff dispute had become a high-stakes confrontation, with the future of cross-border relations hanging in the balance. Washington's response was swift. Top officials mobilized, signaling a major escalation in cross-border tensions. The capital buzzed with urgency as lawmakers scrambled to send a strong message to Canada and the world. President Trump announced plans to double tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, framing it as a move to protect American jobs. The live signing underscored the administration's determination to act decisively. In response, Premier Ford warned he might cut off electricity to U.S. states, a threat that sent shockwaves through both governments. The idea of power cuts transformed the dispute into a potential crisis, raising fears of blackouts and widespread disruption for families and businesses. The standoff showed how quickly diplomatic norms can break down, reminding both nations of the fragile balance and high stakes at play. For over a century, the US and Canada have shared a deeply integrated electrical grid. This network allows power to flow seamlessly, creating a unified North American energy market. States like New York and Michigan depend on this flow of Canadian power. The trade dispute brought this mutual reliance into sharp focus. The grid, designed for resilience, became a potential weapon in an international conflict. The conflict served as a reminder that this energy relationship is not immune to politics. A significant portion of Canadian electricity exports is clean, renewable hydroelectric power. This energy helps American states meet climate goals by reducing fossil fuel dependence. The trade dispute threatened to derail this progress. Losing access to Canadian hydropower would force states to rely on fossil fuels, increasing pollution. The situation ignited a debate in Canada about its role as an energy supplier. Some questioned the wisdom of exporting valuable hydropower to a country imposing tariffs. The conflict forced a national conversation about energy sovereignty. The trade war turned a mutually beneficial arrangement into a point of contention. It raised the possibility that political conflicts could undermine climate goals. The proposed surcharge on Ontario electricity would have directly impacted millions of American families. Analysts estimated it could increase monthly bills by about $100 in affected states. This potential price shock caused widespread concern. Experts warned that long-term disruption would lead to even higher prices. The economic pain would not be confined to one side of the border. The trade war created a lose-lose situation for consumers in both countries. The episode showed how trade wars rarely produce winners. It was a reminder that political decisions have profound effects on daily lives. Ontario's threat to cut off electricity to the US wasn't just bold. It carried big risks for Canada's own economy. Many factories and businesses depend on stable trade with the US, so any disruption could mean layoffs and uncertainty for thousands of workers. Canada's energy sector relies on exporting power south, supporting jobs and public services. But a halt or surcharge could make exports less competitive, hurting Canadian provinces and businesses. The broader trade war threatened the entire economy, with markets nervous and leaders warning of recession. Using energy as leverage proved to be a double-edged sword, exposing Canada's own vulnerabilities. Just as the conflict seemed to be spiraling, a breakthrough occurred. U.S. Secretary of Commerce and Premier Ford agreed to meet for direct discussions. This decision marked a pivotal turning point in the dispute. Both sides moved quickly to pull back from aggressive positions. Ontario suspended its plan to impose the surcharge, and Trump halted plans to double tariffs. The resolution underscored the power of diplomacy in managing disputes. The willingness to engage in negotiation prevented a serious crisis. The incident showed how quickly disputes can spiral and the importance of diplomacy. The crisis was a reminder that the US-Canada relationship is too important to sacrifice. Although the crisis was averted, it left a lasting mark on the US-Canada relationship. It exposed a vulnerability in the US energy infrastructure. The trade dispute served as a wake-up call about the stability of the power grid. The conflict raised questions about the long-term reliability of the energy partnership. For the first time, electricity was used as a bargaining chip in a trade war. This sparked discussions about diversifying energy sources in the US. The trade scare underscored the fragile nature of international cooperation. The incident reminded both nations of the importance of diplomatic ties. The future of North American energy security will depend on reinforcing the partnership.